Hello friend, today I wanted to make a video about an interesting lens to me. It is the Pentax 6.7 55mm f3.5. This is the first revision of the 55mm Pentax lenses, Pentax 6.7 lenses, because they are like three revision. I handled two of them, the first one that I have here and the second revision that came out later that I sold out with my Pentax 6.7. This lens is insanely huge. It weighs in at, I think it's 2 pounds. Let me just check my notes. It weighs in at 920 grams, which is approximately 2.2 pounds. It is an absolute beast of a lens. Owning both versions, the first version and the predecessor, I actually preferred the first version of this lens. Like I said, this is the first version of three lenses Pentax made of the 55mm variety, which on full frame is around 28mm. The first version was introduced in 1969 and then replaced by the second version, which was produced in 1979. The second version being an f2 instead of an f3.5 for the first version. And the third version was also an f4, was released in 1986 and was the last version of 55mm prime lenses for the Pentax 6.7. Each revision gets better image quality from what I heard, and like a more clean image. But at home, like the second version and the first version that I have right here, and honestly I would prefer the first version because the second version is so clean. It doesn't add like any character to the image. And I haven't honed the third version, but if it's an upgrade for the second version, I feel like it would be pretty clean compared to the other two. And that's kind of not what I'm going for when I'm taking images. I like the old like vintage lens look, and this lens, it has it. Don't worry about it. So yeah, I shot like most of my pictures using this lens because like I said, I sold my Pentax 6.7 with the 55mm f4 like about a year ago. Now I'm using an GFX 50R with a speed booster that I found on eBay. It's a Pentax 6.7 to GFX speed booster with the 0.71 magnification. The speed booster is very interesting because when you combine the fact that like the sensor of the GFX is 0.79 times magnification times the speed booster, which is 0.71, you get approximately on this lens 28, which is about the same as on the Pentax 6.7. So we can get like a medium format, like real medium format, like digital sensor, like kind of experience, which is really interesting. Like right now I'm filming on the GFX. I'm using the Pentax 105 f2.4 with the speed booster, and this is like the image that it gives. It's very pleasing and very interesting. I don't know if I'm in focus right now, so that's gonna be fun to figure out later. I'll probably fix it in post. Anyways, back on the video, I wanted to talk about like the pictures I took. I took a lot of pictures with this lens, but I want to mainly focus on like my recent trip to Montreal I did with my friends, where we went to the Montreal Audio Fest because I don't want to like take too much pictures and like get lost. Yeah, so the lens performed very well like in low light. It has like a lot of potential. Like I feel like this lens outperforms the Pentax 105 f2.4, even if it's like 2.4. I feel like the 3.5 on this lens is brighter, if that makes sense. Like it doesn't have more bulky, but it gets brighter. Like for low light situations, it's fantastic. You can get like a real good shot with not much light, and that's interesting. So I took like pictures of my friends. I really like this picture. It was a reflection in the subway window. Actually, it's not really a subway. It's like an outside subway. Like it's kind of weird. It's called REM. It's like a train that goes from Brussels to Montreal, and it's kind of fun. Like like trying it like late at night. It was pretty fun experience. Wasted as well. Perfect. Illustrate like this is a picture of like Montreal at night from a parking lot, and as you can see, like in the center, the lens is very sharp, but like in the corners, it gets not really sharp. But honestly, I'm fine with that. There's a lot of chromatic aberration in the corners. In the middle, it's super sharp. Really, really good lens for that. This is like a picture I've taken of like some random people that asked me like, "Can you take your pictures?" And I was like, "Alright, bet." So this is their pictures. As you can see, like with pairing it with the GFX, it's incredibly resolving. Like even at f3.5, the lens is resolving amazingly well, even in low light. In the corner, it's not so much, but like the center sharpness is very nice. Like with every medium format lens, you cannot really go wrong. This is a portrait that I took of my friend. It was taken at ISO 2500, but I cranked the shadow all the way up, so the GFX performance in low light is it's remarkable. Like you cannot beat it. I think I haven't seen like a camera that goes like maybe the Sony A7S, but I haven't tried it, so I couldn't say. And what I like about this lens is how like it pops. Like when you take a subject, the subject will really pop because of the medium format. Like this is my friend. We went to the Audio Fest. As you can see, like the background blur is fantastic, and yeah, this is my friend James trying headphones. Those were the ATH 9000, if I remember correctly. I might be wrong though. And yeah, like the detail is incredible. We can see like every pores on his skin, and the background blur is very pleasing as well. There's no like swirling bokeh or anything, but like it's very pleasing background blur. This is like a picture I took of like two people, random strangers. I thought it looked cool, like in the hotel. We were at the Hotel Bonaventure. Pretty nice place. Pretty nice. This is more pictures of my friend. Not very interesting. This is an alleyway, and like this is at ISO 6400, and like it's still very clean. Like for a 50 megapixel sensor, it's impressive. But the lens too, like it produced some interesting flaring. It can be used like artistically. I don't know if I have like example of this on this shooting. Yeah, like right here. It flares quite a lot, but I also like it, if that makes any sense. This is like a chicken. I don't know. This was like it blooms. Lens blooms a lot when there's a reflection. It really shows with the camera and lens combination. It's a really interesting lens. Like for the price you get it. This one I paid $250 Canadian, which is a bargain. Like most medium format lens, they cost around like $500, I would say. Like the Pentax 6.7 f2 105 f2.4 is expensive compared to this one, but I feel like in terms of quality and the image they produce, I would put it like very similar. I would rate them like very similarly. I like this lens more because it's a 28 and the 105 is a 55, so it's kind of harder to use. For me, 28 is my favorite focal length, so it helps with that. The resolution is just amazing. You get plenty of resolution. The lens is fun to use. The only problem with it is the weight and the size. Like, people start to notice people notice you when you carry like this camera on. I got a lot of compliments about it. I got a lot of weird looks. But if you're prepared to deal with that, honestly, it's a fun shooting experience. I love like how it renders. This is more pictures. It's kind of diffusing the light as well. This isn't for more. Yeah, this is like sunlight. This is pretty much all the pictures I took that trip. But yeah, pretty solid lens overall. I'd say that for $250. Plus the adapter is kind of expensive. It's $700. So for $950 you got a 8mm f like 2 or something on full frame. Alright, so while editing the video I realized that some information I said wasn't true. Information regarding the focal length and f-stop. How you would calculate normally the focal length of a lens like this would be you take the normal focal length, you take the aperture, and then what you do is you divide the focal length by the aperture, which gives you like the diameter of the lens, because that's the formula to calculate the aperture. It is focal length divided by diameter of the lens. So that's what you do. But then you would replace the focal length value by the actual value on full frame, which in this case a 55 on medium format will be a 28 on approximately on full frame. And then you would do the same equation. So you would divide the focal length by the diameter, which would give you an f1.78 or f1.8, and I calculated with the 105 to test my theory, and yeah, it works. It works. Gives me a 1.19 aperture, which I compared to the DP review forum, which if you check, the equivalent of the Pentax 105 f2.4 would be an 1.16, which is very similar, and a 51mm on full frame. And it doesn't work simply because when you double the focal length, the depth of field is not as half as wide, but a quarter. So basically, if you have a 55mm on that's a 28mm equivalent, you still get that 55mm depth of field. And there's a very interesting video about this, how this is working. This is the f0.3 impossible lens building a large format depth of field movie camera. This video is super interesting. It explains all about like focal length and depth of field. Very interesting if you want to watch it. So yeah, that's it. So this is like why I use like a medium format camera to take portraits, and also it just looks better to my eyes, I feel like. And that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about in this video. I felt like this lens was overlooked, and it's really cheap. So if you want to grab a copy, just head out to eBay. There's a ton of copy there, and they're not really expensive. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys sometimes next. I'll probably make a video on the GFX 50R, like how I use it so far. Bye, guys.